Hi, and welcome to It's a Read. On this channel, we're dedicated to helping you become the best version of yourself by combining the power of art, poetry, philosophy, science, self help, and intuition. This unique approach provides a holistic and empowering perspective on personal growth and self discovery. Why did the mirror break up with the window? Because it couldn't see its reflection in the glass. But don't worry. Here at It's a Read, we know that we're all reflections of each other in some way or another. Let's embrace our interconnectedness and grow together. Recently, I've been feeling a heavy sense of hopelessness. And as an intuitive and a person that believes that we are mirrors and reflections of each other, I'm sensing that others are feeling the same way too. In this video, we will be exploring hope and hopelessness each through various lenses: philosophy, biology, and art. We will also be taking an intuitive approach, as I will be using book divination, tarot, oracle, and doing a reading. And my hope is that by taking a well-rounded approach, we can gain deeper understanding of these feelings and find ways to improve our lives together. And what may surprise you is that there may be benefits to both. Duality. Why did the pessimist cross the road? To get to the dark side. But don't worry, there's always hope for a brighter future. Now, if you're bored by philosophy and science and biology and learning facts, that's okay, because I've put the timestamps in the description box below so you can skip right into the reading, the intuition, the feeling. If you are more logic-based and you don't like intuition and feeling or don't believe in that, the witchy woo-hoo wah, that's too much for you. You're still welcome here. Just don't forget to look at the timestamps below, or else you might feel something. I find that it's best to experience both. Duality, is it in everything? I don't know. Let's get to it. I want to start off with the definition of hope. Hope is defined as a feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen, a feeling of trust or wanting something to happen or be the case. Hopelessness is a feeling or state of despair, a lack of hope. From a philosophical perspective, hope has been explored extensively by great thinkers, including Aristotle, Socrates, and Nietzsche. Let's get into some of their perspectives. So Nietzsche believed hope was dangerous, the dangers of hope. Nietzsche was a nihilist philosopher. He believed that hope was a dangerous thing that led to disappointment and despair. He argued that hope was a form of delusion that prevented us from seeing reality as it truly is. In his view, it's better to accept the harsh realities of life and find meaning in them, rather than hoping for a better future that may never come. I resonate with this. I do believe that it's important, imperative even, to embrace the harsh realities of life. So some harsh realities, it may be beneficial for people to accept, include the inevitability of death, the existence of suffering and pain, the fact that we can't control anything, the existence of inequality and injustice in the world. Also, in learning a new skill, I find that it's important to embrace the fact that the first steps forward are never easy and progress rarely comes quickly or easily. In relationships and circumstances, I find that it's best to embrace the fact that your biggest problems are often in your head and not everyone will support you in the way you've hoped. There's so many harsh realities. So if you have any harsh realities that you've learned to accept, please feel free to share them in the comment section. Accepting these realities can help us to develop a more realistic and grounded perspective and can help us to find more meaning and purpose in the midst of difficult circumstances. Aristotle, on the other hand, believed that hope was an essential virtue that helped us navigate the uncertainties of life. He saw hope as a means of coping with adversity and maintaining a positive outlook in the face of difficulty. For Aristotle, hope was a necessary component of a good life. Hope can help us cope with adversity by providing us with motivation and a sense of purpose. For example, if we're dealing with a difficult illness, hope can give us the strength to keep fighting and pursuing treatment. Hope can help us maintain a positive outlook in the face of difficult circumstances, such as, like dealing with a challenging job or financial situation. Additionally, hope can help us to see beyond our current circumstances and envision a better future for ourselves, which can be especially important when we're dealing with significant challenges or setbacks. Socrates found hope to be motivating. He was another ancient philosopher, and he saw hope as a way of motivating ourselves to pursue our goals. He believed that hope was what kept us striving towards a better future, even when the present was difficult. In his view, hope was a necessary part of human nature that helped us to overcome obstacles and achieve our dreams. Now, in terms of the pros and cons of hope, there are arguments to be made on both sides. Again, duality. On the one hand, hope can provide us with motivation, resilience, and a sense of purpose. It can help us to see beyond our current circumstances and envision a better future for ourselves. On the other hand, hope can also lead to disappointment, disillusionment, and a sense of despair if our expectations are not being met. What are your perspectives about hope? And what philosopher do you resonate with the most? Please feel free to comment that in the comment section below. From a biological perspective, let's approach this from science. From a biological perspective, hope can be seen as an innate human trait that helps us to survive and thrive in difficult circumstances. Our brains are wired to seek out positive outcomes and to avoid negative ones, which means that hope is a natural part of our cognitive processes. Additionally, research has shown that having hope can have a positive effect on our physical health, including reducing stress levels and improving immune function. From a health perspective, feeling hopeless can be a sign of mental health issues. Sorry, there is a motorcycle going past. Okay, from a health perspective, feeling hopeless can be a sign of mental health issues such as depression or anxiety. If you're feeling hopeless on a regular basis, this may be the case. So I've written out some strategies for finding more hope if that's something that you desire. One is practicing gratitude. Waking up in the morning and saying thank you, focusing on the good things in our lives. And this can help us to maintain a positive outlook even when we're dealing with challenging circumstances. Also, staying connected, building and maintaining strong relationships with family, friends, and significant others, of course, as long as these relationships are healthy for you. This can give us the strength to keep going. Focusing on what we can control. This is major. There are many things outside of our control, but focusing on the things we can control can help us to feel empowered and motivated. Practicing self-care, taking care of our physical and emotional and mental health can help us to feel more resilient and better equipped to handle things. Also, if you find that you're really in a hopeless hole, seeking out resources, whether it's professional help, support groups, or online resources, there's so many resources available to help us navigate through difficult circumstances. I've also made a list of some self-care ideas because I know that self-care, we throw that term around a lot. Self-care, love yourself, practice self-care. And I wanted to give you ideas or ways that you can go about doing those things. So one of my favorites is working out or physical activity. So yoga, Pilates, running, hiking, swimming, cycling. I can't ride a bike, but if you can, that could be fun for you. Some hobbies, gardening, because getting outdoors is just awesome. Going on walks is amazing. I've never gone on a walk and come back more angry. Painting or drawing, reading, listening to music or podcasts, cooking or baking, plant-based meals, volunteering, or whatever meals you enjoy. Also, I find I feel a lot better when I eat raw plant-based foods like fruits, fresh fruits and vegetables, raw nuts and seeds, smoothies and juices, raw vegan desserts, raw vegan cheeses and crackers. It's also really fun to make some of these things. Um, some things to do for emotional and mental health: meditation or mindfulness practices, journaling, therapy or counseling, spending time in nature. Again, this is huge. Taking breaks from social media and technology, major. And also nurturing your relationships healthily with others. And I'll give you a few examples on how to do that. But having open and honest communication, practicing active listening, this one's major. Respecting each other's boundaries, showing appreciation and gratitude, again, major. Spending quality time together, doing activities that you both enjoy. All of these are great ways to practice self-care. Oh, also taking a bath. Taking a bath and getting in a hot tub. I like to take a bath and I cut up some oranges, cut up some lemon, maybe toss some flower petals in there, put an oil in there, maybe Epsom salt, and just light a few candles and get in the tub. It is amazing. Okay. Now let's get into the fun part, the intuition, the witchy woo-hoo aha. I will be sharing a channeled poetry poem and doing a tarot and oracle card reading, some book divination, and that's where I open books to random pages and see what sticks out to me. I have some spirit animals for you, animal totems that may resonate, and I also shuffle my music playlist to see what songs pop up that may have a message for us. And let's just hope that it makes any sense and is on topic. You can find the channeled music and the books I'm using for divination in the description box below. Let's begin. Okay, so I shuffled off camera and we're going to just get into the reading. The first card says, balance spirituality and practicality. So maybe this feeling of hopelessness is coming from this lack of balance. Maybe you are either too in your dreamy, dreamy spirit space, and it's hard for you to get practical. Maybe you're coming into a time where, or maybe you were very in your head, and maybe even in your relationships. If it's because of a relationship, then it could be that you like have this fantasy or an idea of how these relationships should be, and not saying that they can't be that beautiful, but there are practical steps that you have to take in order to bring healthy relationship dynamics into your reality. Also, it could be if we're talking about like career, maybe you have all of these ideas, but you don't understand how to bring them about into reality, and you're finding that balance right now. In your relationships with your family and friends, maybe you can kind of feel like misunderstood because you're very in this spiritual state. And I don't like to use the word spiritual, to be honest. I really don't like to use it, but because everybody has a different definition of what that means. But just take it how it resonates. The next card says respect. You value everyone's unique perspective on the path to love. You value everyone's unique perspective on the path to love. And then we have balance again. Okay, so maybe you're learning new perspectives and ideas, maybe in relationships, like maybe you were very set on a way that it should be, and you're realizing that everyone has unique perspectives. Maybe if it was a partnership with a person, maybe you're trying to have more understanding for them, and you're seeing how they can balance you out. Also, this could be that you're taking a new approach to life in general by getting out of your head and taking action more. Or maybe you're a person that only takes action. You're very logic-based. You're very, maybe that you're not the type of person that usually watches these type of videos. You're not very tapped in or tuned in with like feeling or intuition, and you're learning how to balance that. So it could be one of the two. Sleep. The sleep card came out in reverse, and this card makes me think that it may be important for you to rest, because like maybe if you're the person that's very logic based, maybe you have been working, and you're seeing a need to start to meditate or start to take care of yourself or start to nurture yourself in a different way. Let's see. Adjustments are required. Yeah, there's something that needs to change if you want to bring in the life that you desire. Something needs to change. Adjustments are required. Let's see. We have beauty, fertility, and creativity in the reverse, the Empress. This card leads me to believe that you are coming into new ideas, new thoughts, giving birth to new, maybe you're starting a business or on a new endeavor. It's in reverse, so you have to trust this. This sleep card, it also reminds me of stillness and being still. If the answers haven't come to you yet, just be still. But you're approaching a time, like once you make these adjustments in your life, maybe adopting more meditation, maybe some of you need to adopt more planning, and actually doing things in the physical opposed to thinking about them. I'm sensing that there's two types of people watching this video, right? Ones that are doers and ones that are dreamers, and there's nothing wrong with either or, but we need to find balance in that. And as we balance those things, we will give birth to new circumstances and ideas and relationships. Transition, moving, travel. Something needs to change. This reminds me of the adjustment card, the Six of Swords. Something needs to shift. And it may be literally transitioning from one job to another. You might be transitioning into a new set of belief systems, transitioning into a new relationship dynamic, or transitioning into a new way of thinking about your relationship. And then I see moving. So you might be physically moving or traveling somewhere to get outside of your comfort zone. Yeah, I feel that there's some people that are comfortable in this spiritual, dreamy energy, and then there's some people that are very comfortable in this practical energy, and we must get outside of our comfort zone. Then we have the truth, the responsibility, clarity. Truth, responsibility, clarity. Now we may be starting to see that it is our responsibility to put into action the things that have been placed in our heart. And we may be gaining more clarity around our purpose and telling ourselves the truth about what we actually want. Let's see. This card says, the secret of reaping the greatest fruitfulness and the greatest enjoyment from life is to live dangerously. Yes, it's important that we try something new, to live dangerously. And this is a Nietzsche quote, which is crazy because we were talking about him today. But there's risks that need to be taken, and there needs to be an acceptance of a new way of life, a new way of thinking. And maybe you had a relationship dynamic that didn't work out because the person thought differently than you, and you weren't able to see or understand the benefit of the way they thought, and now maybe you are. Let's see. We have in the reverse, always joyful. Write it on your heart that every day is the best day of the year. Practicing gratitude is super important. We were talking about that earlier in the logic-based portion of the video. Operate in gratitude as you take these new risks, and gratefulness for the change and the things that are being placed on your heart to do. The next card is unity. You understand that the love shared with another is amplified and has ripple effects across the universe. Unity. Maybe this is even taking a risk towards the people that you kind of maybe judged. Maybe they were too practical, or maybe they were too in their woohoo, witchy, woohoo, waha energy, and you were like, didn't understand it. Maybe they were like meditating and being outdoors, and like you were like in a hustle or grind mode, and you're just kind of like, that's odd. Maybe. And then like the opposite would be true. Like maybe this person was just super 3D based and operating in just operating more in like within societal norms, and you were like very judgmental of that, but now you're starting to recognize the benefits of that, and maybe that you're going to come together with someone. Maybe you need to come together with someone that is different than you. Like maybe the doer needs to be with the dreamer, and just create like a powerful dynamic. And then also just trusting that all the love you've shared thus far, like maybe there's been some discouragement about all you've done, and how maybe the hopelessness is coming from the fact that you feel like you've done so much and you feel like you're not seeing the results of your efforts. But you have to understand and trust that love that you've shared with people is being amplified and is being shared throughout the universe, and you must trust and know that. Let's see, 24 and 40. Now these cards, this one says stuck in the mud and this one says follow the leader. I'm going to read these out of the Enchanted Map Oracle deck. This is one of my favorites, and I've had it for a long time, and I almost read one of these every day. So, you're being invited to stop and savor the wonder of your life. Becoming stuck is sometimes the only way to trick yourself into slowing down and look around you. In fact, this is a sign that you need to shift your focus away from what you're doing and place your attention elsewhere. Struggling will only get you to even muddier places. Now is not the time to move forward, but to observe. Clarity about your circumstances will come a little later. Stop and find the joy in what you've been overlooking. Soon you'll be out of the mud, but for now, be still and know that Spirit has a plan for you. This is wild because we talked about this rest energy and that stillness. We talked about how we need to operate more in gratitude and be receptive and be open, but being still, because maybe the answers aren't supposed to come right now. So that is the message that I'm getting. And stillness doesn't mean to do nothing, right? We can still be working on ourselves, taking care of our bodies, taking care of our minds, right? Doesn't mean just to get into this mode of doing absolutely nothing, but it does mean that it's okay to not have the answers, right? 40 is the follow the leader card. Let's see what this one says. 40. Follow the leader. Every life is a teaching tool for others. Your authenticity and honesty are an example to those around you. You're being called to lead others by example. Your wisdom has been earned as a result of your bravery and the adventure of your life. The experiences of battles won and lost, places discovered, tears shed, and joy revealed have placed you in a unique position to be of service to others. Your suffering has been crystallized into a talisman of wisdom. Now you must share it. By being fully authentic, you'll lead others into the light. You'll be required to divulge some things about your past so that you may help someone else. Lead with love. There is another message here as well. Look to those whose great character and accomplishments you admire. Emulate the leaders you respect. You will then in turn have more to offer. This is really profound because we talked about how we're going to gain clarity about what our purpose is as we operate in stillness, and maybe a piece of that clarity is something, whatever in your past has occurred that has taught you lessons and led you to realizations and discoveries, is something that you may be sharing. And in order to do those things, maybe there are some adjustments that still need to happen, and like trusting and releasing like the fear behind it, finding balance in the practical and the spiritual, because we have to do the work, right, to get where we want to go. Also, when I say this respect card, I really do feel like it's like also having respect for yourself and your vision, and yeah, having that trust. So I have two more cards that I'm going to place out. This is the prosperity card. As this tree grows so strong, so fine, so may I prosper from the universal divine. So you can say this spell to bring in more prosperity into your reality. And in romance, it is a sacred power. Let it come to me this hour. I do really believe that this has to do with relationships. Once you learn to balance the practical and the spiritual in romance and in your career, in your life, your personal life, I really do believe that this reading has to do with both of those things. And one is actually tied to the other, because you have to be able to see, especially if you're a feminine, and I'm getting a sense that some of you guys are like divine feminines and some of you are divine masculines. That's why we're talking about a lot of practicality and a lot of spirituality. I think that the divine feminine is also always, or oftentimes, more tuned in with her intuitive nature, and she kind of could sometimes judge the masculine for being more practical and more logic-based, and the masculine, as a more logic-based person that's like operating in the 3D, can be like, what is she talking about? Like, what is this witchy woo-wah that she's talking about? And there needs to be a balance of both, and that is why we are supposed to come together, divine masculines and divine feminines, because that is what I believe is a true power couple. So this relationship is possibly having to do with relationships and your career. So yeah, I hope that resonated for you and made sense. Let's see, 1 second, you guys. Let me make sure I get out the animal totems. So I had the animal totems pop out, but I can't reach my laptop to go into them. But The possum was one of them, and the rabbit was one of them. And surprisingly, they are both symbols of hope and fertility. They both are symbols of fertility and change and like new beginnings. Also, we have some numbers here. We have 23, and we have the number 3. We have 24 and 40. That's for people who are tuned into numbers. And then other animals we have here. I see some birds. I see some ducks. I see some elephants. Some bears. I believe this is it's like an antelope or a deer. It's like an antelope, I guess. And yeah, so if the animals are for anyone that is in tune with animal totems. I also have written a free write home. So, in a time so dual, so light, so dark, where despair and optimism can hardly be told apart, finding acceptance can feel like a shot in the dark. Have hope or not, if you will. Have wisdom, discernment, mind, body, and spirit. In a time so dual, so light, so dark, recognize yourself within it all. Be all that you wish to see, joy or hope or misery. Understand what each does come with, then give it your all or nothing. That is a little free write poetry, which I do feel like it is in alignment with this reading. Also, I'm going to place some songs in the timestamp below. I'm just going to shuffle my playlist. So if you resonate with music a little bit more, then yes. I just want to let you know that it's okay to not have it all figured out. And for these people, I really do think that in the stillness, it's important to breathe through the waiting. That's what this says. And trust that it's going to be revealed to you. And yeah, have trust. Alrighty, thank you guys for watching. I hope this resonated. Please, if it did, comment. Let us know how in the comments. Like it. If you feel like somebody else would resonate with this, then share the video with them. I'm super grateful. Thank you.